Stardeath playing the Sentinel, of course, and DB on the Asuri.
So here we go. Stage striking is starting up. Where will it be for game number 1 between these two players? Now, as you were talking about, Stardeath has an incredible top 3 win rate. So this matchup coming up is going to be very important going up against DB, because if he's out, that's not even top 4. That's 5th place finish.
All he has to do is win this set, which is far harder than it sounds. DB versus Stardeath. Stardeath just took a fall to Fiend. And, I mean, that was a 3-1 matchup, and Fiend still had some troubles there. I mean, he made it... He was pretty... all right, I'll just say it. He was pretty strong for quite a bit of that set. But the fact that Stardeath was able to take it to him that hard, that he was able to also take a set off and nearly take another game off and nearly take another one, DB's going to have his work cut out for him right here. I'm calling it.
Yeah, DB did come off of a very close set against Baltazar too, so that was neck to neck, like 3-2. We haven't been seeing many Game 5 sets in South America. In fact, that was the only one that we've seen on stream or seen in top 8 so far. So we'll see how this one plays out. DB's playing very well. Stardeath, of course, too. Now going into Mammoth Fortress for game number 1. Here we go.
All right, trading the weapon for a recovery hit. That damage is probably going to allow him to at least get back a little bit here as he just uses these weapon denials and attacks to just build damage onto Stardeath. Stardeath finally finding a Qatar here, so it's going to be Qatar mirror match as both of these players just continue to hit back and forth with the slaps, the stabs, and the slashes.
Yeah, this is a ditto that we're, or not ditto, a matchup that we're fairly familiar with. We just witnessed Stardeath actually play this exact same matchup in the top bracket, right? Sentinel versus Asuri, once again in the lower bracket. So he is as warmed up as he possibly could be for the character matchup. Now, as for the player matchup, that's a different story. We're seeing them go pretty close to each other so far, and Stardeath the Hammer is looking for that falling side air. Oh, side sig straight away. Wasn't expecting that one. DB loses the first stock.
DB with the down sig, not going to connect it, and Stardeath's going to get a little bit of a punish. The recovery not going to find Stardeath up on the top. Down air into the down light, but the weapon throw disrupting that. And now Stardeath holding the map control. DB force off onto the side, just barely getting back to the middle of the map. Stardeath missing that weapon throw is going to cost him, and that recovery, the perfect punish, taking that stock away.
Ooh, nice weapon combo coming out from DB. Threw the weapon up, was able to get a nice guitar nair. Falling side air, but oh, the wake up gravity cancel neutral. He had to gravity cancel out to get it out as fast as possible. DB was just not ready for it. Sared away. Stardeath took so much damage off of DB getting the opening, and that's got to feel bad. Sared away. Weapon throw didn't get the right read, but he picks up the guitars anyways and gets an immediate recovery. Stardeath, solid lead over DB so far in game number 1. Sares him again. Oh, the neutral that would have taken him down if it wasn't for that weapon throw. That throw was amazing.
2,000 IQ plays right there. You know that he's going to go for a signature. Just throw that weapon, disrupt it, and get right on top of your opponent. That gives you enough time. DB still... Oh, well, okay. Maybe he thought he was going to take the fall there. That's possible as well.
There are cases where players will evaluate the situation and go, I don't want to spend all my time recovering. I'm just going to fast fall and get a weapon as soon as possible. Because basically during that time, if they're not going to make it back anyways, your opponent could spend so much time setting up a weapon starve, and that could be worse than making it back in deep red just to lose your stock again. Stardeath, however, taking this lead, really huge in his favor so far. DB is starting to hurt. Ooh. DB goes in for that down light. Right went for the recovery right afterwards. Weapon throw into side air. Nicely done. And DB with the sword. Double nair. Chase dodges all the way up. Tries to get that falling side air. D-light recovery would definitely finish the job. DB has to wait for that dodge to get back up. And Stardeath is playing a little safe. But he gets the side light and neutral light down. And I think that was a chase dodge neutral light as well. Yes. Oh! Spot dodges the tail end of that neutral light. Stardeath. Down light. Recovery. Oh, this is not looking great for DB. He cannot finish Stardeath's second stock.
Oh! That recovery surely would have been fatal for DB's last stock right there. Stardeath trying to make his way back. Weapon throw, not even needed, but he's going to do it anyway for a little extra insurance. So there we go. Stardeath, 1 stock left. The stocks are even, and a very nice weapon throw actually stopping Stardeath's approach with the neutral light. That's going to allow a DB a little bit of damage to start off on Stardeath's last stock.
Yeah, and
A
what's
little bit of
interesting
room for
about
him to
that
work.
situation is that it was the opposite of what we saw earlier, where DB fast fell to get to the stage as fast as possible, where Stardeath tried to recover anyways, even though he couldn't make it. And we saw DB was able to set up an amazing weapon starve, got a combo off of the weapon starve, and it now has brought Stardeath in the orange. And that could be the difference between evaluating whether or not you can recover in a high skill cap game like this, because now DB is in a position to where he could possibly come back just because he was able to keep Stardeath with a weapon for so long.
DB playing a very careful game mode, takes the weapon through to the face and goes a little too high with the recovery, and then gets right into the range of the side air from Stardeath, finding that KO. So it is going to be 1-0 in favor of Stardeath in this game one.
Yeah, that recovery was in the perfect position to actually get punished by every single move in Sentinel's kit. I don't think that there was a single move that he could have used to not kill him there. It was unfortunate. The spacing was just right above the stage. And now we see DB switching to the Artemis. Interesting pick. The only other player really seeing representing this character, Phazon in North America, as far as my memory goes. But now we see it coming up for DB in a game number 2. And yeah, the Asuri didn't look great, but he was managing to make that comeback possible. Stardeath just had control over the entire matchup, but maybe DB's just kind of like, okay, I'm through with the guitar, ditto. I'm bringing out the Scythe and the Lance. Let's see how this plays out for him.
Weapon throw. Oh, he's going to lose the hammer. He even chased after it. He was hoping to get that back. DB trying to get that punishment, but he's not able to capitalize off the lack of weapon from Stardeath. Now the guitars are going to allow him to get a little bit more damage on a DB as DB looks for the openings right now. The neutral sig coming out from Stardeath not punished quite enough, and now Stardeath just having the run of the map right now.
Ooh. Downlight connects. Stardeath's trying to get that weapon. DB's trying to keep him away from weapons himself, but he's not really in a position to be weapon starving with how much damage that he's taken. Stomp Cider, I think, would almost finish the stock as is, but Artemis is a very, very fast legend. As we can see, DB already going for those dash jump fast falls, making it all the way through. But there's one Stomp Cider. Lance being able to make that recovery back, but if it hits again, that's going to be it. Stardeath putting up the down 6. Nice punish. One Sarah comes through. Can he get another one? Oh, the Nairs are starting to hit. DB doing pretty well
starting
here
to
on
get
this
that
first
damage.
stock.
And that Lance damage is pretty big, too. So being able to land those hits is extremely beneficial. Oh, but he loses the Lance, and that is going to be the stomp side air, the coach pitch coming out from Stardeath. Another KO on his belt against DB as he starts this game off with a pretty sizable lead, actually.
Yeah,
Things slowed down
is,
so much, I kind of lost perspective.
Stardeath's been keeping a lead like this all set so far, and what's interesting about that is, ooh, nicely done. Finishes him off the signature, takes him off to the right side. DB keeps a closer game than game number 1. Stardeath in his matchup against Fiend had a really, really solid game 1 as well, and then it started to fall apart for him. We'll see if that happens in this game. So far, he's been holding on to the momentum quite well.
That was pretty nice. DB getting a little fancy with the Lance options that he has in his tool belt. Finding the Neutralite because Stardeath just jumped right into it. Stardeath looking for a little bit more from these guitars right now, but Lance is kind of working right now for DB. He needs a few more bigger hits. He needs to get Stardeath in some more precarious positions, but if he can do all of that, he might be looking really good right now.
Sidelight hits. Stop. Side air. Ooh. Weapon throw. Forces the recovery out early. DB still has a dodge. Now he doesn't. Oh, but he doesn't get the recovery. Stardeath picks up the guitars. Doesn't deny him, actually.
Oh!
Double down lane and neutral sig. DB, is he going to take the lead for the first time this set? Oh, falling down. Oh, okay. Neutral sig didn't hit. DB avoids the haymaker. Side air. Done. Takes the lead. Amazing play on the Scythe towards the end. Actually, it was just unarmed that really took that back. Stardeath didn't respect that DB was just going to go in with a double sidelight, and now the Scythe is really coming online.
And he is exceptionally explosive right now. Slows down, kind of gets Stardeath into a very comfortable position, and then explodes with just like 2-3 hits, maybe a really powerful signature move like we saw at the neutral sig or like the side sig. But whenever he is just explosive like that and lands hits, Stardeath just doesn't have the right response, and DB is able to get good damage or at least offstage pressure onto Stardeath.
Oh, he went for the side light and a side sig read. That signature is incredibly fast and very powerful. DB, oh, he's going for the side sig again. I feel like he should get a few more of those nairs like he just did. Nair and a down light. Now the side sig almost certainly will take him off. Take him out on the side of the stage. Silent recovery might actually get pretty close too now. Yo, that side sig came so close to obliterating Stardeath. Weapon throw came through and DB.
That would have been death, 100%. But
he's
got the sides right now, looking for the down light push off. Ooh, reading the dash in too. Interesting plays from DB right now, but he has this game. Unless something goes horribly wrong, he's got this game on lock.
Yeah, there's a terrifying thing about Artemis signatures, and that's you really could just put them out in a situation like this because you're not going to get too punished most of the time, and your opponent has to be playing around all of them at all times. The neutral sig, just being able to throw out that globule without actually putting yourself at risk. The sides coming out so quickly. Cider hits and DB does it. Takes game number 2. And I was talking a little earlier in that game about how this was a similar situation than Stardeath was in against Fiend. He did an incredible job in game number 1, and then game 2 was close, but loses it, and now DB really seems to have captured the momentum. Let's see if that continues with this Artemis in the game 3, or if Stardeath just has learned and adapted to fighting against it.
Well, his slower, more methodical play style usually lends itself to an adaptation from him. So I wouldn't be too surprised to see it from him, but I would actually be very interested to see whether or not DB can take this whole set by using Artemis, because I was pumping him up earlier at the beginning of this set. DB, or Stardeath, has a 100% success rate making it into top 3 from top 8, but if DB hits him here, this is going to be the first time in a tournament where he doesn't make it.
Yeah, Stardeath is fighting for that. It's weird. It's like it's not exactly like being the undefeated champion, but also that consistency is really something to live up to, right? It's just being like, hey,
yes,
I might not win every event, but I am in. You're getting a medal, right? It's either gold, silver, or bronze. I'm coming back home with something, and that's what Stardeath is looking to do this tournament as well. DB in his way as the set is now 1-1. Stardeath, nice start here on Crystal Temple. Oh, he's got to be careful of that cider brought him off the stage with a few jumps to utilize.
DB picking up the lance now. He's going to pressure Stardeath. You see him backing off, trying to stay safe, looking for the opportunities. He sees one in the neutral air, the falling neutral air, but he gets that weapon throw. He tries to use that weapon throw like he does against Fiend, where he can throw that weapon against them and then dash the distance, pick it back up into another attack, but that's not going to work here. DB has that dialed in, it seems, and DB just hasn't been terribly punished by those weapon throws. The coach pitch, though, that is going to carry him a little bit farther there. Not quite to the KO, but a dodge through the weapon is going to allow him to take a little bit of an advantage. Ooh, and a signature to try to deny space for DB to acquire that weapon. And there it is, another coach pitch taking the KO.
Yeah, stomp, side air into the... I mean, the stomp was like max range, so the side air didn't connect, and then the falling side air afterwards was just enough. DB sent flying, didn't get too much more damage in, but the side recovery, nice nair. Hits. Nair picks up again. Oh, that gravity cancel neutral sig repositioned him to get the nair. DB's aerial game on the side that's clean. Went for the down sig, but started dodges straight through. Weapon throw into the lance. Now he might be looking for those side sigs. That neutral sig came really close to connecting. Downlight. Gravity cancel side light. No recovery, but DB, even though he's behind, I feel like he's in the lead. And that's how well he's playing on the second stock. Recovery hits. Doesn't KO, but he is still just haunting him down in the air. Finally, one of those side sticks connects and sends Stardeath flying.
I mean, of course it's going to look like he is in the lead, even though he's actually still down by just a small deficit, but still, he brought himself back almost an entire stock at this point, as far as I'm concerned, because that is a massive undertaking to do, and look at the damage! Look at the damage! He's still going! He's still going! With this site just taking Stardeath all over the Crystal Temple. He is giving him the exclusive premium level tour. He paid so much for this, or he could have, but DB is taking it in there for free, and he's happy to do it. Look at how much of a train he is running through this place.
Ooh, and that's the second time I've seen Stardeath get that gravity cancel neutral light wake up punish on Hammer, and it's so notable because he doesn't like literally if he just waited a second he would be on the ground and be able to get a grounded one, but because he's gravity canceling it, it's actually coming out early enough to get the punish and connect. Very close between these two players now, though. TB is so far, it's almost so far ahead, was that Cider connects. Scythe picked up. Nice ground pound. Doesn't get a combo off of it, but still keeps Stardeath away from the weapon. Pick up side sig. DB trying to get that finisher, and there's the recovery. Oh no. This is as far in the lead as DB has been all set, and it's looking a lot like the last match we saw against Stardeath. Stardeath almost on his tournament game. If he's not even able to bring this back, DB on the side doing pretty well.
Stardeath hovering the map right now, looking for that recovery from DB. DB, the turnaround, gonna dodge that side light. And DB just running a train again with that scythe. Weapon throw, he's going to manage to find it once again. Stardeath looking for the hammer side airs. The weapon throw into neutral light is going to really disrupt him a little bit. A second one coming out, putting him into the red. That's going to put DB in his second stock into a pretty vulnerable position, especially without a weapon. The side air actually killing with the bounce from the stage. That's how close it was to the wall from that position.
Artemis bouncing on scythe is interesting because it's a projectile. And the way that it works is that once it hits the ground, it stops traveling. So if you use the ledge, it travels farther. But when DB used it on the platform, he was like right where it started, so it just immediately fizzled against the platform. But it does get that splash effect, so it's an interesting option. Stardeath bringing us back on the guitars. Nice combo. Oh, that neutral sig. He waited right as it fizzled to be able to get that dash jump weapon throw. And now he's got DB without a weapon. Hammer picked up. A few stop stairs, and then a side stick would be able to finish the job. Neutral light, great start. Keeping DB away from the weapons. Nice snare.
Phenomenal map control from Stardeath right now with the recovery. Oh, that surely would have been it for DB if that connected. Neutral light coming out. Oh, in the sight, now the tables have turned. Stardeath without a weapon right now, just having the weapon Lux spawning right on top of him. Stardeath. Oh, side air off stage. Weapon throw. DB. He has a recovery. Oh, and there it is. Stardeath finding the down light gravity cancel into the ground pound. Just ripping and tearing right now. Taking that game back from DB. That onslaught that he brought to the table did not last as Stardeath closed that out. One more game is all he's going to need to move on to top 4.
Yeah, something amazing about what Stardeath did there was position perfectly to punish the scythe recovery so that the downlight did not clash with it. And that is very difficult to do. He was able to get the downlight and comboed it into the ground pound right after DB utilized every single one of his recovery options. And now we're going into game number 4. Stardeath up 2-1 in what was looking like a very scary game number 3 for him against DB. And DB sticking with the Artemis, so it seems, as Stardeath might actually be able to continue that top 3 streak that he has been having going on throughout 2020. That's very exciting. We're going to game number 4 in just a moment. Map striking has begun.
What do you think we're going to see here? We've seen quite a variety. Do you have any idea on what they might go towards?
Maybe the Mammoth Fortress pick. It's been some time.
Ooh,
I would
made
be
it through the
surprised
first
if
round.
we went to Demon Island.
Oh,
Okay.
Hey, look at that. 10 points.
Yeah.
I don't know what the points are for.
There's really like nothing rewarding for guessing the map pick correctly because I feel like I don't know. It's so easy. If you pick Mammoth Fortress, 70% of the time you're gonna be right. It's just I totally just pull out a Daiku percent, but
it should be a small game, you know, where BCX, one of those BCX awards at the end of the year, Caster who got the most map pick predictions correct.
Yeah. Maybe.
You never know.
We'll see about that one. Game 4.
We got
Stardeath. Oh, whoa, okay. He did. So, as scary as that looks, Guitar down air does reset your jumps if you down air into the wall. So it wasn't like he just fell, but that looked very frightening.
DB and Stardeath getting into the mix right now. Damage is relatively even. Weapon throw from Stardeath is going to get a little bit more built up on DB as he moves forward. That lance carrying him right through these hits. Going down in the down air, going towards Stardeath. Not going to carry him into the hit. Weapon throw from both Disruption and, I guess, an opportunity to recover from DP. Stardeath trying to make his way back to the center of the stage, and it is blow for blow right now. The down sig actually connecting for one of the first times, like all weekend, I think. I don't think I've seen that really come out too used,
at least today.
I remember seeing it at least once or twice, but I don't remember it ever connecting.
Yeah.
So that was actually really interesting that he brought that out instead of maybe the side sig.
Oh, but Stardeath still manages to take the first stock. Nice recovery. Takes him off the top, and he's not at, I think, only the Lance side sig would KO. Never mind. That was the weird... Wow, that's very horizontal knockback on a neutral sig that... Huh. Well, today I learned. Art's neutral sig is powerful. Even a game. And now a slight lead for DB, actually. Nice dash up around. Gets that pivot neutral. Like, ooh. Okay, this scythe is looking great. There's just moments, just these bursts of a ton of damage coming out from DB. We picked up the scythe and Stardeath doesn't have the hammer. And he's still going. Oh, he fully charged it down.
No!
Is he dead?
Oh, not the weapon throw.
Oh
no,
my goodness. So the fully charged down sig, the orb caught Stardeath before he touched the ground and sent him flying, not bouncing off the platform. That was a 0 to death DB. Insane.
Absolutely disgusting. Stardeath now trying to get a little bit of a revenge here for what DB just brought to the table, and DB is just he's just getting more damage continuously. Stardeath finding that read, but DB with the dodge roll out of there to just avoid that half pipe conversion. Stardeath taking so much damage right now, and the gravity cancel wake up from DB to interrupt the approach from Stardeath. Very smart part from him to just collapse that lead that Stardeath was bringing back from him.
Oh, he's gonna down sig again.
He might.
No, okay. He jumps back. Sidelight hits. Went for the side signature instead. Doesn't connect. But the neutral light connects. Neutral sig. Okay, Stardeath does take the stock. Brings it down 1-1. Very heavily in DB's favor. Have a feeling we're going to game number 5. But Stardeath, I mean, he can just do what DB did to him and 0 to death. Perfectly fine. Has to pick up those guitars. There's a sider and a neutral light. Sidelight dodged out of the way. But Stardeath gets a nice meaty start to this game, or this stock. But the recovery hits and one more Lance recovery, and that's going to be it for Stardeath.
Ooh, and well, it might be. He's not dead. Oh, well, weapon throw. 2 weapon throws. That's it. He knew. You saw the ground pound at the end. He knew that's going to be tying that setup 2-2. DB making this a real match between the two. Stardeath, his consistency, his record of a 100% top 3 in tournaments is at risk right now. He might be forced to take that tied for 5th spot.
Yeah, this is a very close set, and I think it's going to depend on whether DB can get all the reads they did on Scythe again. Because when that doesn't happen, when DB doesn't 0 to death his opponents on Scythe or get them from white to deep red, Stardeath is winning neutral more often than not. It's just when DB does get those explosive openings, he just takes it away. And Stardeath is now on the back foot when it comes to momentum. Apocalypse is going to be it for game number 5, and Stardeath onto the Bodvar for game 5. Or, yeah, Stardeath and Bodvar. That's it's interesting. Still has the hammer. He wasn't feeling the guitars were doing it for him.
3, 2.
Well, I mean, Bodvar is always a good fallback legend. He's been around forever. He's got a pretty consistent kit. Sword, hammer. I mean, he does, like you said, he has the hammer as well as in terms of consistency between Sentinel and, the Bodvar. So it's not going to be too different. He just has the sword, which might allow him a little bit more freedom in terms of dealing with the scythe.
Yeah, so far only sword play coming up from Stardeath. Weapon pickup from DB, the Lance, and he inches forward. One nair hits, goes for the cider, but he just falls back a little bit too far. Silent down stick coming up from Stardeath, and that might be a really early KO if he's not careful. Dive kick hits, goes all the way back up, but DB manages to pick up the Lance again. So he makes it back to the stage, and damage is even. It's going to be whoever gets that nice first signature hit. It's going to take the stock. Stardeath doesn't have to say it,
looking
gets punished.
dangerous.
Oh, that
DB
down
not
air.
quite in the red yet. Oh, just barely outspacing the side sig. Oh, weapon throw! Snipe from mid-stage, and that is going to be DB converting that into a KO against Stardeath. And now Stardeath, 2 stocks left before...
Yeah, side sig on Artemis is incredibly hard to punish if you don't have a sig of your own that lurches you forward. Bodvar stands in place, just slams his hammer into the ground. If he was on sword, maybe he would have connected, but because Artemis bounces back after the blast, his side sig missed, gave DB the side air to punish and the weapon throw to finish the job. Now DB up, 3 stocks to 2. Never mind, dead even game.
Weapon throws, just trying to cycle to lay that next weapon spawn. DB being able... Wow, that was really lucky. It spawned on the exact opposite side from Stardeath. But Stardeath, right now with the sword, just trying to play around these scythe vectors, which can be pretty brutal. Those down airs, those neutral airs, those side airs they have a sweeping motion around them, so you really have to be careful about where you're positioning around your opponent. But it looks like that loss of the scythe right now is going to allow Stardeath to get a little bit of damage built up. The weapon throw, the denial coming out from Stardeath, good map control on his part to keep DB condensed a little bit.
Yeah, Stardeath has been doing a good job of controlling center stage, too, towards the end of the second stock. He's slowed down the way that he's playing a little bit. He's been hitting him with a lot of neutral lights, side lights. He's getting those one hits, going back, trying to win the neutral again. As I talked about earlier, DB, much better at connecting strings than Stardeath, but Stardeath much better at winning a neutral, so that's the way that he's going to be able to take this Game 5 if he wants to, well, obviously he wants to, if he's going to make it further into this bracket. Now we have a really close game. DB's just hitting with these straight airs, trying to get to a point where a silent recovery or a side sig would be able to take him down. Silent recovery, not enough. The next one's probably not going to be enough either. He has to get a few more hits in the Stardeath if he wants to take him out on Apocalypse. Sidelight neutral sig, however, that is interesting. Takes him down. DB now has Stardeath on his tournament stock.
It has a much more vertical knockback vector, so of course that is going to be the angle that he needs, and that's the correct read as well. It isn't true, I think, like the sidelight recovery is, but the neutral sig read where he dodged right above because maybe he was thinking there was going to be a delayed recovery or something, and he could get away from that. That is that different hitbox coming out of that neutral sig from that from the lance is exactly what he needed to confirm that KO, because I mean, like you said, I don't think the recovery either was going to find that KO.
And it was the first time he ever used it too, so Stardeath wasn't ready for it. Don't know if that will work again, but here we go. Stardeath trying to play it as safe as possible with DB. He's fine with that. I mean, at this rate, if Stardeath never approaches him again, he still wins even on a timeout. Now, not so much. Stomp Sider connects. Stardeath now has DB on his last stock, both players. One stock away from being out at 5th. Winner of this goes into the top 4. Throw comes forward. DB does get the punish. Downlight hits. Lance versus Hammer. Stardeath has been doing the best on Hammer so far. Sidelight stops him from picking up the weapon. Recovery hits, and now Stardeath starved of a weapon. Picks up a sword. Sidelight, Nair. Has DB disarmed. Oh no, he went for the downlight. I don't know what he went after that, but okay. Scythe picked up. Down air. Oh, Stardeath on a jump. That's it.
There's no way. DB taking it down. Stardeath cannot get back, and that is going to be Stardeath's perfect top 3 ratio gone as DB moves on to the loser semifinals. Be the first one there, and now all he has to do is wait for Power Ranger or Broly to meet him there. You can see this right here in the replay. Stardeath almost getting that gravity cancel down sig. That would have been absolutely devastating for DB, but that dodge through gave him all the room he needed to work with, getting Stardeath off stage, following it up with the down airs, forcing that pressure off stage, and just closing out the game in a very solid fashion.
Yeah, towards the end, Stardeath was too eager to recover high. And